This is the Padres POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres POSTCAST on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. And for the last time this season, want to thank you for being here, making us your first watch or listen every day. Myself and the man you see right there on screen with me, that is Javier Reyes, with a great season of Locked On Padres podcast. And by the way, he goes all year with the show, but the Padres are done. 3-1 the final. They dropped the Game 3 at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and the wild card series is over. The Cubs move on to face the Brewers, and the Padres go home after a 90-win season full of challenges, full of injuries, all sorts of things that happened this season with the Pods, but they actually almost at the end were able to put a rally together in the ninth. You have to literally step on this team's throat to kill it, but it is over. And the main culprit, as has been the case for most of the season, offense or a lack thereof. And Mike Shildt made a lot of moves today, some crazy, some not, riding the roller coaster. They all worked out pitching-wise, but nothing could get this offense going in this game today. It's Padres POSTCAST. It's Grease. It's Javi, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is what you'll be talking about.
A lot of missed chances, Javi. I know it's a tough day, and we had real big expectations for this team. Got almost nothing out of Michael King and Dylan Cease all year long. Nick Pivetta steps up. The bullpen's fantastic. But in the end, no offense, or should I say no offense, but there's no offense for the Padres. And I don't care if Casey Stengel came back to manage this team. I don't care if Billy Martin or Tommy Lasorda or Whitey Herzog, or just take your pick. Any manager all time comes back and manages this team. They weren't going to win this game today no matter what, because the Padres, Javi, the 2025 epitaph reads, no offense here.
Yeah, and I think this was my take. I feel like my main thing was why I picked, everybody could go check my podcast crossover on Tuesday with Sam Olber of Locked On Cubs. I thought the Cubs would win the series in 3. I just felt like this offense was one that I didn't trust for most of the year. It was an offense that was really lacking that super duper star. And they do have one, but he hasn't been that way with the bat. He's more of an all-around player now. Bad game for Tatis, obviously, today.
Terrible.
Really bad series for Jake Cronenworth. It seems like they got some guys that showed up, right? Like, you got to give Manny Machado credit because he was the big hit in game 2. But other than that, that was nothing.
Jackson was great.
And Ryan O'Hearn was great. Ryan O'Hearn was great this series. Especially when you consider that not only did he draw like 1 or 2 walks, I forget, but he also probably got robbed of 2 hits by Dansby Swanson. Probably 3, actually.
The Cubs defense, incredible, Javi.
Cubs defense, incredible. So it's got to be, you have to give credit to the Cubs defense. They're pitching a little bit too, but mostly just that defense for them to go out and make all those plays in the infield. Never make a mistake that say, the Yankees are playing right now, right? What has been the story with them over the past few years in the playoffs? They have these weird fundamentals that they mess up out of nowhere on the defensive side of things. And the Cubs did not do that. And look, don't get me wrong. There are still fair, let's say like innocent, almost gentle, innocent questions for Mike Shildt with some of the decisions he made in this game. I think the main one being Michael King only going 1 inning, but this you can't say, right? Like, this was just bottom line is that the offense didn't show up. And I know what Padres fans are thinking. I see Alexander in the chat saying ABS now. My thing is, I'll save that for another podcast. My thoughts on it. I actually, you might be shocked by my take on the ABS thing, but for me, look, it was a bad call. The guy is completely out of control.
Bogart strikeout in the 9th. Awful.
The Bogart strikeout in the 9th is bad. That's one of those times, because I actually, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I actually can't stand when athletes voice so much displeasure and annoyance at a bad call, only because they sometimes do that even when the call was great. NBA is a great example of this. But when it's a playoff game, when your team is trying to come back in an elimination game, you have a couple questionable calls and then it's low. Like, if I'm Xander, like, I would have crashed out, like, in every way. I'm getting ejected in that moment. It's also Xander, who usually is not one of those types of guys. He's been here before, obviously, which we've talked about, but they can't get the big hit, unfortunately. Shout out Jackson Merrill, though.
Xander had the big stolen base. I thought he played really well in the series, hit the
Xander
ball
was
well.
all right. Yeah.
I'm encouraged by him going forward. At 32 years old, he came back nicely from the injury at the end of the year, and the wheels were good. Defense was great. But Javi, you're right. There's no big bat in the middle of this lineup. We can talk all season long. We've talked about the pitching, right? King, 2 trips to the injured list. Dylan ceased to give them anything all year long until yesterday, and that was 3 2/3. Yu Darvish, not terrible, up and down after coming back, and today they had the quick hook for him, and I thought it was interesting. You don't go Michael King in that spot. You go Estrada, and I'm going, oh my God, he walks the first, and that's a nice job by Jeremiah Estrada. Great job by the bullpen in general. I knew Suarez would give up a run because he almost always does, and I just kind of felt that. So I don't think Suarez will be back. I doubt King will be back, and I doubt Cease will be back.
Ease up on Suarez. My man was running on fumes, and he's the wrong pitcher to throw out there when he's running on fumes, by the way, in my opinion. Not that they had necessarily anybody else, but just that means you're in a tough shot.
I'd have gone King the whole way. He was looking great, man. He could have given you 4 or 5 innings there.
I think that will. I think there are 2 big questions that have nothing to do with the game or the series and the playoffs that now follow the Padres after this game. Number 1. Is Michael King, is there something wrong? Is he hurt? I do not understand a world in which you only use him through 1 inning. An inning in which he looked great, by the way. When you only got 1 inning out of Yu Darvish, right? Yeah, like he's really good. But again, I want to wait on that just because it's almost too obvious, and he has been on the disabled list for so much of the season that maybe there was something there. I texted you my conspiracy theory. Is this another Josh Hader situation? Again, this is speculation where, for those who remember the Josh Hader situation, famously did not want to go 4 outs, even though they were still in the hunt for a playoff spot, and it was bad. Michael King, pending potentially a free agent, he's got a mutual option, which maybe he'll take, actually, right? Because if I'm another team right now, I'm like, that was weird. So curious to see if anyone asks him potentially at the post-game conference, which I imagine is happening right now.
He's an elite starter, man. And if he had a Michael King type of year like we thought he'd have, and Cease pitched the way he had, just imagine what this team could have done. And Javi, we haven't even mentioned it. Thanks for all the love in the chat.
I was about to say.
YouTube, and then wherever you get your audio version, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and then Roku as well. Locked On Padres podcast, and then the postcast, which now will not be here until next season, which will be the end of March, early April. So, but
I'll
Javi,
have you on the main show, though.
Thank you, brother.
Big Jim isn't leaving that easily, everybody. Don't worry.
Not leaving that easily. But I'll tell you this, man. You said it in the 9th inning. What did you? I'll leave it for you because it was your thought. What did you text me in the 9th inning about who they were missing today? Big time.
Ramon Laureano. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Before I get into that, the second question, it will be now: is anyone getting fired? Is AJ Preller getting fired? No Peter Seidler. That was his biggest ally. I personally would not do that, but it is something that is up in the air. So I'd say Michael King health, and then AJ Preller / Mike Schilt as well / anyone. Does anyone get fired for this?
Can I start it now?
But maybe. But Ramon Laureano.
I'm ready to fire someone right now. I won't let him on the plane. One person right now going. Mike Schilt, adios. And no, all new hitting coaches too. Every one of them out, gone. You have to probably hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm sorry. I don't like to be a bad human, but the rules of the sport and the way the games are played and the way the businesses are run dictate that I have to. Mike Schilt did not get the job done with this team. I'm sorry, he didn't. He cost them at least 3 to 5 games down the stretch. They could have won the division. They could have had home field for the series. He brings guys like Peralta in the 8th. 3 times he brought Peralta in a late game, and he blew it when I'm sitting there screaming, stop, please stop. Robert Suarez is not your closer. Mason Miller is. That burns you today. You overuse the bullpen. You burn guys out. Even with Jason Adam gone, you bring in Mason Miller, and you still can't get it right. I don't want to seem like I'm always picking on Mike Schilt, like I'm the 5-year-old throwing a tantrum, but he did not get the job done with this team. Someone's head has to roll, and it starts at the top. It's not Preller. Preller did a great job at the deadline. If it's Preller or Schilt, it has to be Schilt.
I actually think I don't think you can fire Schilt only and leave Preller, because this will now be like the 9th manager that he will be hiring. And but anyway, that's more like a separate topic. Like, we're gonna have plenty of time in the offseason.
You're right. Well, let's talk about what really happened today. And if Mike Schilt's head does roll, you can start with, look at the top of that order again. They were 0 for 11 in game 1, and they're 0 for 11 again today.
Yeah, I mean,
top 3 guys.
We were hoping like it would regression to the mean, since they were so bad the first 2 games with runners on in scoring position, but they didn't do it yet again when they needed them the most. At Slocum says Darvish, Tatis, Machado stuck tonight, pure and simple. It's true. And I think that the Yu Darvish thing, were we having some wishful thinking that he might just be able to turn it on for the playoffs? yes. That is one of my least favorite Preller moves that he's made. I just didn't know who he was bidding against, but Darvish, it's for the foreseeable future. We just have to assume that he's cooked. I mean, he only goes one inning, gets hit hard too, by the way. It's not like, he was getting unlucky.
And I said yesterday that Yu's the guy I want on the mound in this spot, but I also think that Michael King's 7 scoreless innings coming into the series, and we'll pick this up, got to go to a break, pick this up on the other side, but 7 scoreless innings going into this series, and he does not get a start. Your best pitcher does not get it. And I know Pivetta was your best all year, but your best pitcher is Michael King, pure and simple. There's no argument, no case that can be made for anybody else. Period. It's Michael King, and he didn't touch the rock. He didn't touch the rubber. He did not get a start. It's Grease and Javi. It's your Padres postcast. It's an epitaph. We're blowing taps. The season is over. They lose 3-1 at Chicago, 2-1 in the series. Again, they just could not get it going offensively. Top 3 hitters, Tatis, Arraez, and Machado, 0 for 11 in this game, and Fernando struck out 3 times. He just never got it going, really got it going offensively all year. Yeah. Testament to his greatness that he was so amazing without slashing. We'll talk about that on the other side. Remember, we're sticking mostly to this game today. You're going to have to come back and watch and listen to my man Javi to get the rest of the stuff. But this game today was just another myriad of missed opportunities for the Padres, but no missed opportunities for you as we tell you about a couple of the great companies that we work with, bringing you great deals, amazing products and services, and we will continue with the turning point, the star of the game, and the epitaph of the 2025 season. The Padres lose 3-1. This is Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, even today. And I get a chance to tell you about FanDuel. The NFL season is here, something to move on from baseball to. And FanDuel has an offer you won't want to miss right now. Hey, it's here tomorrow. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. That's $300 if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel. Javi does too. The reason I love it is the variety. I love getting action on the action, but so many ways to play, whether it's parlays, player props, even live lines during the games. That's right. It makes it so much more exciting to watch the NFL. Little something riding on the action, so whether you're a casual or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what, I ask, are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app today. That's right now. And get started with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And speaking of action on the action, this episode also brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's always good to be right, but even better with Prize Picks. It's such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards, Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, and you, my friend, are in the game. I love how quick it is to make your lineup in under a minute. You have stacks now that Prize Picks just added. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their pass yards, rush yards, touchdowns, all in one lineup. It's also fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups with just one click if you roll that way. I like to pick my own because I'll beat those other guys. And the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup with Prize Picks. It is good to be right. And one more to let you know about, and this is awesome, right? Nothing like catching a baseball game live or an NFL game live, college football too, for that matter. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, that's the tough part, right? Queues, login screens, prize fees, takes a lot of the fun out of it, and that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by Game Time Guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Fees are included. Again, you know your total up front. You get the zone deals. You pick the zone. They pick the seat for you. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I have ever bought tickets, including when I picked them up after they were carved out in the stone tablet. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first pitches. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. They're working me today on those spots, man. I got hosed on that third strike call for sure, but starts with Tatis, and he stunk. Michael Griffith just nailed it in the chat room.
I mean,
it is what
we
it
got
is.
to talk about him.
Got to start there with Fernando. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts.
3 strikeouts, and they were bad strikeouts. There were some of those like half swing things on pitches way outside the zone. He just looked like, I mean, we've watched Tatis in the playoffs for a while now. 2020, 2024, right? Like he's had some good moments, some good playoff series. And he always felt like this guy you were terrified to pitch to, the opposing team. He just went down like nothing. And don't get me wrong, he did have a good game yesterday. He does get a single, and he does draw a walk, and has a stolen base, a nice catch too.
Scored. Yeah.
So that's good. But when you're hoping that this is the type of guy that like, hey, we literally are going to win a wild card game guaranteed just because of this guy, he just didn't have that. But again, I want to be careful because this is the same thing people are doing with Aaron Judge right now. Where like, just because he's had 2 bad postseasons, everyone thinks he's a choker, and nobody looks at the postseasons like the 5 others
Not
that he's
this
been
year,
in,
Judge.
where he's been great, right?
Yep.
It's this year. So that's my thing is like, I don't want to use like, oh, lack of clutch. It's like, this is extreme recency bias. That being said, Tatis is in general in a vacuum. I don't care about a playoff game. There are some questions we're going to be having in the offseason about, is this just who he is? And if that's who he is, still a great player. That's still probably worth the money that they paid him. But the thought, the numbers, whether it be advanced or regular, it looked like he was Griffey. You know what I mean? That's what it looked like Fernando Tatis Jr. was. And again, 6-win player this year. He's a Gold Glove caliber defender.
Don't know if he was playing hurt all year. We don't know that.
There's potential for that. So still great. And if he's just this for the next like 10 years, like guys, that's like a fringe Hall of Fame player, like genuinely. So it's still, I don't want to kill him, but it is worth bringing up. Like, man, I thought we had Ken Griffey Jr. You know what I mean? I thought we had a guy that was going to be like MVP every single year type of contender. And instead, we might just have a regular star, which again is fine because they also have Jackson Barrel, who had a home run in this game, worth bringing up. He looks amped. He's clearly, I heard him. 4 extra base hits. I saw him being like, come on, Bogey. Like, you can tell that's what he said. And it looks like it worked. Bogarts should have had a walk in that 9th inning. But overall, man, I mean, there's just so many questions going forward. I imagine I'll be talking about that all offseason on my show. I saw someone in the chat like, what free agent are they going for? Buddy, I ain't gonna lie. Tonight, your boy is sitting back with a root beer. My drink of choice these days. My drink of choice, sitting back and just drowning in the sorrows, and maybe use this Rams 49ers game to just pretend that baseball doesn't exist for a little bit.
Doesn't exist for a bit. And
doesn't exist for a bit. You know, just pretend. That's what you got to do.
Well, we're not going to keep
you
you
a nerd person,
longer, man. It's going to be as quick as the end of the season for the Padres. I mean, 3-1 the final, out hit 13-7, no errors in the game. Cubs got 2 in the second, 1 in the 7th. Great job by Estrada coming in for Darvish, who couldn't get out of the second. King was awesome. Peralta, Suarez gave up the homer, but the bullpen was great, as was the case all year long. But Javi, 0 for 11 at the top. They couldn't hit. Pretty simple. Doc say it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Palencia the win, Darvish the loss, Kittredge the save, and former Padres, in the middle of it with Pomerantz right out there. But just to set the table for next year, and I don't even need to play the graphics. The turning point was when Darvish couldn't get out of the second inning, but that was because the Padres didn't hit all game. And then the star of the game for the Padres was Freddie Fermin, 4 for 10 in the series, 2 hits today, threw out a runner stealing, had a little help with the guy sliding past the bag. But good job by Fermin coming in here after Preller upgraded that catcher position. But Reyes is a free agent. Cease, Michael King has a $15 million mutual option. Suarez, $8 million player option. He's going to get way more than $8 million. Ryan, and I would never pay him a cent more. So adios. Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, $6.5 million club option. Javi Iglesias, Peralta has a player option, and Elias Diaz has a player option. I thought they missed Diaz in the series too. And
I think Wandy might opt out. I could see Wandy opting out. Suarez, it is worth mentioning. I believe that there's some option. I think it's not just $8 million. It's $8 million for the year after. I think Suarez probably opts out because saves leader, 3.1 ERA.
Yeah,
I think he's probably opting out. I would not do that contract either if it's what I think it's going to be, which is like a big one.
29,
right?
That's why.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to have Mason Miller back. Maybe Jason Adam comes back, right, decently healthy at some point next year. But the big thing, man, is going to be Was Michael King healthy? What's this team going to do? Is Michael King also like with that mutual option? Like, I don't know, like if a big deal is out for him, I'm actually going to be really curious to see how his offseason goes. But
I want to see how Boris spins King and Cease in this.
Yeah, I stand by my prediction on Cease. I think Cease gets the Blake Snell deal that he got, where it's 3 years, 60-70 million, and an option after each year. And then they can opt out if they do well. And then you saw what Snell did, right? He got paid 150. I think that's what he does. But look, man, I don't know. It's tough because they gave up a lot at deadline. They gave up Leo DeVries, who's been killing it. Nobody look up if you're a Padres fan, his numbers in the minors. It'll make you sad. So they gave up a big asset there. You know, can Ethan Salas come along? There are so many questions that I will still be talking about on my show, not to do the self-plug or anything.
There's the plug and the tease right there.
Everybody check it out. And then tomorrow's episode, let's call it the Sorrow Safe Space Hour with my guy Karthik Venkataraman of CBS 8 Sports. I imagine he'll have some funny things to say. But man, and he's also a Titans fan too for football, so he's going through it too. You know what I mean? So it's going to be sad on Friday. We're gonna have plenty of Dodger fans commenting on the channel, I imagine. So can't wait, man. But dude, genuinely, you killed it this year. After every game, just seeing you live. Sometimes I would be out on a Friday and I'm seeing this guy. I get the notification he goes live. I tune in for a second, see what's going on. Especially if I had missed the game sometimes on a Friday, usually. But for the most part, dude, you did great. Your first season. I'm sorry we couldn't give you the thrill of covering a team that wins. Just one series. Just one series. You could.
I had the Marlins last year, Javi. They were historically bad. It was a big step up.
It was that's a good way to view it.
And working with you, man, thank you for all the work you've done to build this channel and what you do for the fans. I get a lot of notes about you, and it's great. And in the beginning, it was like, who the hell are you? Where's Javi? Get out of here.
Yeah, that was.
And I see the loyalty.
I didn't know either, guys. For what it's worth, I didn't meet Jim until I think the second postcast after the second one is when we caught up. But yeah, that was a very funny moment. But yeah, I appreciate all of you. Send all the notes in the comments section for this video, any of my videos. I'll answer them on Monday as well. Still lots to talk about this offseason. And we're probably going to start with some player reviews too. And then we're going to get into big questions. Free agents, there's still plenty to discuss. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. And I predicted Cubs, and it just feels like another topic is going to be, was last year really the year that they had? We'll have to see. Last thing, Cultural House says Tatis is not Hall of Fame. That's a stretch, Javier. I said, let me be clear. If Tatis is like this, if you look at the history of baseball, if you use wins above replacement, if he's this 4 or 5 win player for a while, because remember, he's still young. Yes, there is a good chance that Tatis is
even with the PEDs.
And also, I said fringe Hall of Fame player, by the way. I did say fringe. Yeah, the PED thing will be interesting, but if he's clean and doesn't get into any trouble for the next 10 years, I think baseball is like, okay, it's fine. But that's not the main question this offseason. But again, I've been running too long. I'm going to head out. I know you got to head out too, but hey, man, it stinks. It stinks. And look, they come back every year though, right? And most importantly, I've only been a fan covering this team since 2019, but I know damn well that Padres fans will take this version, this new era of spending, new ownership, ballparks being sold out, being a national story with the trades and all that. Everyone is taking that over what they had back in 2010 and 2014 and all the early 2000s, with the exception of a little bit of 06, actually, especially 06. So I know everyone will take that. So try to keep that tight. And I don't know, watch a fun show. You know what I mean? Go watch Frasier if you want to laugh. Go watch Arcade if you want something really unique and fun. Go watch One Piece.
How about Locked On MLB Game Night?
Go, and then also tune into Locked On MLB Game Night if you want to hate follow the rest of the postseason. And I have one more thing to say to the Padre faithful, because I am this guy, and I know a lot of you are too. I have only one more thing to say. Go Phillies. Go Phillies. Let's go. Absolutely, man. And reveal, I might be going to that game on Monday. There's a slight chance. And I will paint myself full red, baby. Let's go. It counts. I'm still doing Padres things technically because I'm rooting against the Dodgers. So we'll see. But it's been a blast, man. It's been a blast. Go everyone but the Dodgers. All right, that's Javi Reyes. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Make sure you keep watching and listening to Locked On Padres podcast, Locked On MLB Game Night. Someone's going to win it, just not going to be the Padres. Congrats on a great season to those players who grinded it out day in and day out, and one that was just not easy. They got everything they could get on the way here, and they just could not get it going offensively.
in the end. But thank you for being here night in and night out, day in and day out, wherever you get your podcast, plus YouTube and Roku. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. For Javi and everybody else at the network, thank you so much for being here. And as always, keep your game tight and your mind right. I will see you soon on Javi's show. But until then, one more time, go Phillies.